Hey everybody, Jamie Lee here from BirdTricks, and today I'm going to be talking about why parrots bite, and this is going to apply to parrots of all sizes, from the smallest budgies to little conures, all the way up to big macaws. Barry has never seen one of my conures up close before, and she's really considering coming over here. Don't do it, Barry. Don't do it. So today I have with me my sun conure, Lily. She is the oldest of my three sister sun conures. I also have my budgie, Blueberry, who's really considering dive bombing us right now and figuring out how well this conure can fly. She can fly really well, Blue. Stay up there. Okay, I'm moving you to this side so that Blueberry's not so tempted to jump on us. So the number one reason that parrots bite is because it's a learned behavior where it's the only thing that they've been able to do in the past to a human to get it to stop doing whatever the bird doesn't want it to do. Or it's also something because we ignored all the kind signs they gave that they didn't want something. So for example, when we hold a bird on our hand and we go to put it somewhere, we can feel that it doesn't want to go there because it maybe grips tighter, it leans away from that surface, it hesitates going there. Just all the little subtle nuances of how it... Blueberry is just talking to my Sunny. Where are you going? Where are you going? Blue wants to play with you. Oh, Blue wants to play with you. I think you're too big to play with Blue. Lily doesn't even know Blueberry's there. So cute. The cutest. So back to what I was saying. I knew you were gonna do it. I knew it. Blue. Blue's just letting you know that she's queen of the house. It's her house. Train of thought is gone. Okay, back to what I was saying. There's a lot of signs that birds give, subtle they may be, that let us know that they are not wanting something. A bite is kind of the last resort. However, birds that are kind of conditioned by humans, that all those nice kind signs that they give with their feathers or with their feet or with their body language in general don't mean anything, then they just immediately resort to biting because they've learned through human interaction that all those subtle signs mean nothing and they're gonna go ignored anyway. So why go through and even bother showing those signs when you can just bite the human and get the result that you need. This is why birds bite. They bite because usually out of fear or aggression or something that they don't want. And when you ignore that, that's when you're going to endure that bite. You're acting like such a baby. Everyone's gonna think you're a baby bird, but you're 10 years old. You're not a baby, but you're tiny. You, however, all right. One of the solutions that I like to offer is one, videotape your interactions with your bird. A lot of people tell me, my bird doesn't give any signs, it just bites randomly. And although that can usually stem to hormones and hormonal behavior, a lot of the time you're just missing the signs. So a lot of the time if you videotape your interactions in slow motion, you can slow it down, look from an outsider's perspective, and really start to recognize those things that your bird does before it ends up biting you. It might be stepping away, it might be raising certain feathers, it might be a vocalization. I have a gray who does a clicking sound when she's aggressive towards another bird. There's all sorts of little subtlety signs that we can pick up on if we really listen and pay attention. The second piece of advice that I like to offer is give your bird an incentive to do what you want it to do. Don't expect your bird to do what you want it to do just because you want it to do it. Birds are not about pleasing people. They're kind of a what's in it for me? So give them something that's in it for them. Sometimes when we interact and bond with our bird a lot, we become that reinforcement and the reason why. A lot of the time the bird flies to us because it wants to be with us because we've developed that awesome relationship. But if you're dealing with biting, that's probably not the case for you. And so your bird needs a little extra incentive to make it a little worthwhile for that bird to interact. And that can be done with a treat. I have little walnuts here. Come here, Lily. I have little pieces of walnuts that make it worthwhile for Lily to do what I want her to do if I need her to do something specific. So if I need her to come away from an object that might hurt her or she might ruin it, I want to have some sort of incentive instead of forcing her away from that situation. A lot of the time, people with birds tend to think of it as, no, you can't have that, no, you can't do this, no, stay away from that. And there's a lot of mystery involved around the house where the bird just gets tunnel vision and wants to find out what's so great about that place that I am not allowed to be. If you can afford to take the mystery out of those places and let your bird be there safely, definitely do that to where it makes the fun go away. It takes the fun right out of it to explore that little area that they've been wanting and dying to go to until it's just not cool anymore. The other thing is just having that incentive, having that treat value to be able to say, do you want to earn a treat instead and come over here where there's actual reinforcement, and making sure that you place those reinforcers really intentionally. And what I mean by that is making sure that your cage for your bird should act as its room, and it has reinforcements in it that aren't anywhere else in the house, so that your bird enjoys and wants and desires to go back into its cage and spend time there, especially for when you need the bird to go back in when you have to leave the house. Other things like that would be making sure that for birds that enjoy the cage too much and are too nervous to come out, that you build bravery in that bird and you start putting perches and toys on the outside of that cage to encourage the reinforcement to be brought out of the cage, so that bird is more likely to come out. You can get those really cool wooden coconut perches. They hold like a half coconut at the end. And use it as kind of like an extra serving dish. I do this for birds that are really fearful and don't want to come out of their enclosures. I'll put them on the outside of the enclosure and start feeding little bits and treats and meals there to encourage the bird to come out on their own and kind of broaden their safety bubble. And it's a really, really great tactic. So using food in a very intentional way, especially when it comes to treats, and changing up your routine a little bit to encourage bravery will really help birds that tend to bite out of fear, because they'll just be getting more and more adaptable and braver. Whoa! There she goes. Lil, it's okay, Lily. Lily. Come on, Lil. Good girl. Oh, you still have a nut in your mouth. Good girl. The last piece of the last piece of advice I want to give on this topic is to check out my beginner course. It's not just for people that are brand new to birds, but it's also for people who just have never delved into the world of training and want to understand how your behavior and what you do affects how your bird reacts and what your bird does. So human behavior affects bird behavior, and a lot of people are unaware of this. Even your environment affects their behavior. So if you start with my beginner course, it'll really draw that out for you, plain and simply, so that you can understand what you can do just in your everyday environment, everyday interactions for everyone in your household to just make a better bird companion out of your bird. It's really just making you better human companions to your bird, but you know. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Lily thanks you too, and Blueberry wherever she is in the house. Don't forget to check out my beginner course. I'll leave a link in the video description. Don't forget to like, thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't already for more parrot care and nutrition and training and all the parrot information.